It's the SKOR North Twin Show.
And it's a Feedback Friday edition of the SKOR North Twin Show here, where we turn the show over to you guys and we stockpile some of your questions, comments, concerns, critiques about the Twins, about the show, whatever it is. There's two great places for you to send those comments. Via email, there's a feedback tab inside the SKOR North app. You can always hit us up throughout the week there. And then we're perusing through the YouTube comments too, and we take some of the ones that we feel like could lead to good discussions. And we'll do an Immaculate Grid for the second time this week. New categories all over the place. I haven't looked at the grid today, but they've got like wins above replacement, like it's making Judd's head spin.
They're all over the map. They're all over the map now.
I like
a lot of stuff. That's okay.
It's kind of fun. It's a little more flavor, I guess, so it doesn't get stale. If you've missed any of our hot stove discussions, we had one regarding center field on Monday, I believe it was. And then yesterday we did a number 2 starter discussion. And there are other options. Like I've seen some people throwing out, hey, for the center field discussion, why didn't you guys talk about Cody Bellinger? We should have Cody Bellinger is going to get paid. He's a starting center fielder. But there are more discussions about like free agents and stuff that we will sprinkle in here between now and the winter meetings. So if you guys are ready, I'll unleash some comments and feedback here.
Bring it up.
Okay. Mark John 9404 says, why would you guys want to replace Sonny Gray with Tyler Glasnow? Glasnow can't stay healthy. I just don't know what would possess anybody to want to rely on him with how little he's played. We did this discussion yesterday about Glasnow. He has great stuff, but that's nothing if he can't stay healthy. I'd rather spend less money and take the risk on someone like Trevor Bauer. I think Trevor Bauer comes at a lower risk even because he's at least generally been reliable over the years health-wise. What do you think of that? Like, so Trevor Bauer, he settled that big case.
Yeah.
And now he's technically a free agent this winter.
I'm not going near him. And forget the trouble that he was in recently. I'm not going near him from a clubhouse perspective of he is a pain in the ass. He is a pain in the ass, and the Twins have shown that they don't really have the infrastructure to handle that. Josh Donaldson turned out to be that. And look, just to be very clear, I applauded that signing at the time because I thought that fire might help. But it sounds like he was just a first-class jerk. And when it comes to guys who are jerks, I don't think there's been one who, like, the Twins have squashed and been like, okay, you shut up and do your job, right? And because, I mean, that's not in Rocco's DNA. So if Rocco's going to manage this team, I don't think he really has the ability to, suppress a mega personality who might be, unlike Correa, might be negative. The Glasnow thing, though, let's be clear about this, because I saw this too, and I saw that we got a tweet about his playoff struggles as well, which is a good point. But the Glasnow thing is not, I'm not picking Glasnow over Gray. I'm picking contracts.
Well, but Gray could, it's not about even picking Sonny Gray. The Twins might want to pick Sonny Gray, but he might want to pick someone else because he's a free agent.
And I don't want to sign him to a 3 to 5 year contract. Like I'm picking the fact that Glasnow is 1 year, very expensive, but I know exactly what that price is. And then you know what? If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not stuck with 3 more years of Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Bauer was, I mean, he won the Cy Young in the pandemic shortened season. He was really good with the Dodgers before basically putting on the restricted list and hasn't pitched in the majors since. He was in Japan, I believe, last year, right? I don't know. I just think there's better options out there than going after Trevor Bauer, who's now 32, 33 years old. I'd rather take the chance of bringing someone in like a Tyler Glasnow or re-signing Sonny Gray probably before I look at Trevor Bauer.
Bauer is super interesting just as a pitcher because he's younger than Sonny Gray. He's like 32. Feels like he's been around forever because he came up when he was in his early 20s. Derek Falvey has a connection to him in Cleveland. Now, we don't necessarily know, does Trevor Bauer like Derek Falvey? Does that connection matter? But, you know, Falvey came up through the ranks on the pitching side of Cleveland's front office, and Trevor Bauer was there honing his craft. The Twins have shown a propensity to take pitchers and elevate them, right? Like Pablo Lopez is better. Sonny Gray had maybe the best season of his career. There's some other examples where maybe it didn't work out so well early, like Lance Lynn But lately, the Twins have pretty much honed their process for getting some of these guys in the door. So they could pitch to Trevor Bauer like, you're familiar with Falvey. You saw the run that we went on. You know, you could come to the Midwest. You thrived in Cleveland and Cincinnati. Come on into a low-key situation here. Like, I could see it independent of some of the legal stuff. And by the way, like, even after that case was settled, there's been some additional pushback. Like, that's still a really murky situation. Maybe not legally anymore, but it's you can't just bring him in and everything's great. Trevor Bauer's here. Like, there's going to be questions and there's going to be some blowback maybe in the community. It's just the reality. So
I do remember a colleague of ours who was connected to Bauer told me one time that in 2018-19, because he got traded from Cleveland to Cincy, I believe. I think that was 2018.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And he got tuned into Mackey and Judd in 2019 and listened to a trade deadline special and apparently turned it off after about 90 seconds of listening to Mackey and Judd talk MLB trade deadline.
He wasn't a fan? He wasn't a fan?
Wasn't a fan.
Yeah. But
we were talking about the Twins trading for him?
I don't know if it was even for him, but he caught a hot stove trade deadline discussion towards the end of like the 2018-19 trade deadline, and he was not a fan. It was relayed back.
Maybe he just
90 seconds.
doesn't understand the reckless speculation lifestyle.
Reckless speculation.
You know, not everyone can handle it.
I just think that this team has proven one thing in the past, well, since 2018 or 19, and that's the fact that a personality like that I would not introduce to this clubhouse. I don't care what he can do or can't do. We're yet to see it work. Like if you're not a positive influence, Nelson Cruz, Correa, right? Like those guys have huge personalities, but they're very positive.
Yeah.
But name me the last like volatile player the Twins brought in and controlled.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to do that. Like that's the other thing. It's like if you're kind of on the fence about it, it doesn't. Yeah. You've got something really good going here. There's other options. I'll say this though: if he's pitching at the level he was 2 or 3 years ago in terms of just pitching options, he could be a great addition. But there's other baggage that you'd have to be concerned about.
And if Gray would come back on a 2-year contract at the Twins' terms, that's my first choice. I just don't think that's a realistic conversation.
TK Fair 73 says, no talk about Tyler Mahle for this number 2 starter discussion. I think he would be cheap and he has the upside to be a number 2. So he is a free agent and he's been rehabbing, obviously. When did he get that surgery? It was like May.
Early in the season.
Yeah.
So he's not even going to be ready for opening day.
No, he'll be out for a good portion, I think, of next season, won't he?
Also, one of the things that we're trying to, I'll speak for me anyways. As you're building this thing to be better in 2024, hope can't be your strategy. If you want to bring back Tyler Mahle on a 1-year reclamation deal and he's like the 6th guy waiting for someone else to get hurt and he's in the back end of your rotation, okay. But if your strategy is let's sign Tyler Mahle, hope that he can be ready in April or May, and then hope that he's pitching at his peak after Tommy John surgery and he can be one of your playoff rotation starters, that is not a strategy for getting better in 2024. I'm not anti-Mahle. I'm just Mahle as your number 2 or number 3 starter.
Considering the Maeda and Paddock timelines, I think Mahle will be at best late next season.
I mean, yeah, they probably
it's not even a.
Yeah, I think they had the surgeries like basically around the same time of their respective injuries, right?
Yes. So it would be a totally Twins thing to do this and try and bring him back, but he can't. He's not even a discussion point for opening day in the rotation.
Yes. Okay. Urban Champ says, to make money, you got to spend money. The first mistake the Twins made was not putting a roof on the stadium when they built Target Field in 2009.
Rami, quit posing as different people.
Rami, come on.
Is this Rami Makloff, our old SKOR North band member? Not going to sell out every game in April, May, and September when it's in the 30s. I mean, they had a chance to put a roof on that thing, or a retractable roof, and they just said it was more about the skyline is what they said. But it was like an extra $150 million, I think, to put that roof on.
I think they actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the footprint of the current stadium would not have allowed the stadium to be big enough to put a roof on it.
Okay.
But there was a design, and it was actually very cool. I want to say near US Bank Stadium that would have been right on the water, which would have been awesome
Oh,
that they
yeah.
could have put a roof on.
Right by where Mackey is, right?
Yep.
Is the Orpheum? What is I always mix what's
Guthrie.
the big Guthrie. The Guthrie.
Yeah.
Like right in that Gold Medal Park is where they were gonna put the stadium.
Yes. And that I think could have had a roof.
So would you guys, if you could go back, would you want Target Field to have a retractable roof?
No. I'm scarred baseball wise. So the prime years of my life from the age of 12 to 40, and I know that we've come a long way from the dome. Okay. So I get that. It's not domes now, but they played indoors. I love going to an outdoor ballpark. And that's the key word, ballpark. And look, Milwaukee with a roof, which was built circa 2000. I'm sorry. And we could go back and forth. That stadium does not, like, if you're like, okay, go watch a ball game in Target Field or State Farm Family Insurance, whatever the hell it's called. AmFam. Thank you. It's Miller Park. But anyway, it's not even close to me. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm going to go to Target Field every single time. I love that ballpark.
Yeah. The only time I hesitate, obviously, is like, okay, so it's going to be 34-degree high this weekend. If the Twins ever do make it to the later stages of October,
we haven't had to worry about that.
I know.
So I'm good.
And it would be nice sometimes in April, but I still think the May, June, July, August, September nights, like even early October, dude, it is beautiful. It's top 5 ballpark in all of baseball.
It's fantastic.
Let's see here. Frankie Zobitz. It's a cool name. Frankie Zobitz chimes in. He says, I love the take for trading for Glass now if the price is right. If I'm the Twins, here's another one. I'm calling the Angels about Reid Detmers, starting pitcher Reid Detmers.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Young, left-handed starting pitcher that fits the age of some of the guys in the organization. So Reid Detmers, I believe he threw a no-hitter in 2022, and he wasn't quite as good last year. He still has like 4 years of team control left, so that he's a bright young starting pitcher, was a former first-round draft pick out of Louisville, so it's the type of guy that you're not just going to be able to, hey, Trevor Larnach, we'll give you a Jose Miranda.
Right.
You'd be getting a legit high upside left-handed starting pitching option that would be in your rotation for 4 more years. So this would be a lot more like the Luis Arraez trade for Pablo Lopez, where you'd have to give up something like an Edward Julian or something would be the, like, would you be willing to trade Edward Julian for, like, say, a number 2, number 3 starting pitcher? Basically the same trade you made last year, trading Luis Arraez.
Ooh, boy.
You got Brooks Lee coming up. So Brooks Lee, at some point, you need to play second base.
I'm pondering this. I'm thinking about this. Like this is not a dismissal of no way I can't do that. I got Brooks Lee coming up. Julian is a guy. He's a rise too in some ways because he gives you great at bats, but he's a guy who probably you could argue doesn't have a position.
You bring Polanco comes back on the option, so he's your second baseman.
This might sound crazy. I would need to look into Reid Detmers a little bit more, but that type of trade, yes, I think I would do it. Yes,
and then you'd say goodbye to Sonny Gray, obviously.
Yep. But what's his status as far as
how many wins did he have?
Things? No.
Judd's like, how many wins did he have?
Yeah, no, he didn't have a lot of wins. Look, that Angels team is a complete mess.
Yeah, he was the 10th overall pick in the draft in 2020.
And he is not a free agent until 2028. Yes, I would do this trade. This is I love this. I love this reckless speculation.
Yeah, and right now he's on that pre-arbitration $700,000.
Yeah.
Oh, that you're looking for to the guy who sent this in? Is that what you're?
I said, yeah, his name. I can't recall it.
Frankie Zobitz. Frankie Zobitz.
Frankie, great job.
Frankie.
Dex, would you do it?
I don't think so. I don't think I would trade Julian. You can't just get in the habit of once you get a good OBP guy, you got to trade him for pitching all the time. And I like what Edward Julian can bring from an offensive perspective. I'd rather explore another trade option or another just external option to bring in another starter than getting rid of Julian.
Yeah, I'm here to explore everything. Julian as an on-base machine is super valuable in this lineup. So I told you guys this a few weeks ago, as we're looking for some flexibility here. How do you make room for Brooks Lee at some point? I would tell Julian this offseason. So definitely keep practicing second base. That's great. You got better in the second half. Going to need your glove there. Also, go buy a great first baseman's glove, because, and people might like,
Oh, you
wait a
charge
second.
him?
He doesn't.
Go buy one.
He could expense
buy
it.
one.
No, he could expense it.
This is typical cheap pole ads
Yeah.
right now that they won't
You
even
go buy
get
your own
him.
glove.
Go to your equipment room and get him a first baseman.
You put that
Ooh,
ball
that's
in
an
the glove.
A2000.
Yeah.
That's going to
Put
be
that
a
ball in your
little
glove, put it
spender.
underneath your mattress and box spring. You sleep underneath it. It's a whole thing.
Edward, we told you no more gloves. Mom and Dad can't afford anymore.
Poor Eddie, gonna have to dip into his checking account to get a glove. But I would have him be able to play some first base, because Kirilloff's shoulder, if Brooks Lee's ready to rock and roll, or if you bring back Polanco, I don't want Julian's only other spot to be DH. So, and if you put his weighted on base average or even just like his OPS up against all the other first basemen, it's like top 5. And it's not because of power as much. He does hit for some power, but he gets on base. So his bat plays better at first base than you would think traditionally, thinking about like the big thumping first baseman. So, all right. We're here to explore all premises, Frankie Zobit. So we appreciate that one. Anthony Stewart chimes in, and he says Twins hitters saw 18 strikes incorrectly called against them throughout the playoffs, which was tied for the most. Pitchers had 20 strikes incorrectly called balls, which is the most. So they got screwed more than any other team with humans calling balls and strikes. 38 incorrect calls against the Twins. Texas was the next closest at the end of the Twins run with 27. It's time for automatic strike zones or a challenge system. How would you guys proceed? The Twins did get kind of screwed compared to other teams.
Did it?
I don't think the umpires weren't out to get them. It just so happened that way. But what would you do if you said, if Rob Manfred said, okay, you get to decide Judd and Declan, what do we do with the automated strike zone or not in 2024?
I like the challenge idea for a start, because one, I think as a fan, like I like the idea of it adds, I mean, baseball's done a really good job. Again, I can't believe I'm saying this because I was such an anti Manfred guy before, but baseball's done a really good job in the last 2 years now of adding things that, in my opinion, even as a guy that considered himself at one time a baseball traditionalist, I think makes the game more fun, like makes the game more entertaining. And regular seasons in all sports, maybe aside from football, but definitely in hockey, baseball, and basketball, they're too long. It's why the NBA is sticking in a tournament to like spice things up.
Yeah.
So I think I would start with a challenge system. I think eventually it, no question, is going to go to an electronic strike zone system. But I think a happy medium would be to do what they introduced in AAA this year, which is give the pitchers and hitters so many opportunities, and then they're done. So you got to be smart about it to challenge calls.
Yeah. How many?
5, 6.
5 a game?
Yeah, 5, 6.
That probably
Probably
go by
safe.
pretty quick.
I mean, it would be. Yeah, you got to use them strategically then too, right?
Can't use them in the first.
I'm for robot umpires at this point. Umpiring is, I swear it's, maybe just because we have more information that Fox Box is on there, but
It is.
I swear they've gotten so much worse. Maybe
They
just the
haven't.
information, but it's just awful watching umpiring where I'm audibly shouting out explicitives at the TV screen when there's just a terrible ball or strike call. So yeah, I'm for the robot umpires, man.
Yeah, I am too. I've been for 10 years. Pellicero and I used to do 10 years ago on our early evening 1500 ESPN radio show. We would talk about robot umps and deliver stories about, ump shows and stuff. So I've been on board with this for 10 years. I think you start with the challenge system. It's baseball. Baseball needs to take a step here before they go all in. Plus, I think the challenge system, it makes it more entertaining because it's like there's strategy involved.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. As a fan, I would enjoy that.
Do you have to allow the players to challenge? I know that in the minor leagues, don't the players have the power to
The
challenge?
manager can't.
So can you train your players to not just react like, hey, man, we
what I wanna
only
see.
get 5 of these. There's 2 outs, nobody on, and you felt like you got screwed. That's fine, but don't use your challenge.
The leadoff guy, I'm going to challenge that one. And now I'm going to challenge
It's like
Yes.
burns them all in the same at
Yes.
bat. But it is funny that in 2023 going into 2024, and the world is so advanced technologically. We now have, if you're rich enough, we've got these like MRI machines that will scan your body for cancer now, right? We've got AI technology that will write entire essays for you and take the place of humans. But in Major League Baseball, that close pitch on the corner, we got to make sure we refer to Lance Barksdale, right? Like, we
And
got
it's great when he just punches him out.
Chris Conroy,
But have you? So here's where I actually feel that they have not gotten worse, and probably 25 years ago were much worse. Do you guys watch when? And I think it started in the league championship series where they regularly use the umpire cam. So there's like a, and when they take that shot, which is a really really cool shot, how difficult that job would be.
Oh yeah,
it's impossible.
Like you are looking at a guy throwing, and the thing is now, think about the guys that throw 198 consistently, right? Like that ball is like for us, we're literally watching from behind home or from behind center field. We got a box that we can see. And so it's like, how do you miss that call? And then you see it from the helmet cam thing. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
They're also like, oftentimes if like they're trying to duck behind the catcher, their first priority is to make sure they don't get smoked by a foul ball.
Yes.
Their second priority is to make sure that they can call the pitch. So if the catcher is lined up a little further outside or something, right? So this is on the YouTube channel here for the audio audience. I'll explain. Like, here's the box that I'm in, right?
Right.
Well, I'm going to be over here if the catcher is.
Right.
Now I'm looking at an angle. It just doesn't. It's 2000, and it's not. We rip on the umpires, and it's fun to like sit here and be like, I gotta make sure Todd Tickner, flips that coin on that close pitch, or Angel Hernandez. But you're asking humans to do something that isn't fair anymore.
Right.
And it's like the fact that we can watch in 4K definition on TV with a box and it shows, that pitch was like a hair outside. That umpire's an idiot. No, those umpires are actually probably better at calling balls and strikes than in the 150-year history of baseball. But technology has surpassed what humans are capable of seeing at 100 miles an hour. So, and I'm not saying this because the Twins got screwed necessarily. It's just, it's time. Yeah. Major League Baseball.
Yeah. How about this? Alex Kirilloff, field the damn baseball.
Correct. Yep.
That might help a little bit too, right, Declan?
Oh my God, I've already exercised my feelings on this. I don't want to rehash it again.
I just wanted to get you worked up. Sorry.
Oh God.
Let's see here. Robbie B says, when you guys were talking to Patrick Royce this week, you talked about the makeup. This is from last week, actually. You talked about the makeup of all the teams in the playoffs, noting that none of them had more than 2 starting pitchers, like good starting pitchers. So in my head, this proves bringing back Sonny Gray would be a mistake. I love Sonny, but would absolutely love to see him back. But I like the I feel like the playoffs prove the formula for winning in modern baseball is with bats. If you believe in Pablo, Joe Ryan, or Paddock to be a solid 1-2 punch, wouldn't spending any available capital on a bat make more sense? You could use another right-handed bat for sure. It'd be helpful.
Yeah, but I don't think that I don't think that we're in a position here to say that pitching is not extremely important, because we complained, I think rightfully so, for years about the lack of top end guys. So like if it's bring back Sonny Gray, or just for the sake of this conversation, exercise the options on Polanco and Kepler and keep them instead of trading them, I'm bringing back Gray.
Yeah. Also, I think it's an oversimplification to say like, that you don't need Sonny Gray or a pitcher that was of his caliber, just because like you need really good starting pitching just because there's maybe not as much with some of these teams or household names. You need both. The Twins, part of the reason why the Twins went so far this year is because they had top 5 run prevention. So you need to prevent runs. And if you're taking Sonny Gray out and you're swapping in someone who's not nearly as good as Sonny Gray, then you're going to prevent fewer runs. And you can make up for it by scoring more runs, but at the end of the day, it's like losing weight. Calories in, calories out. In baseball, runs prevented and not. So
I'd much rather run back the 2023 Twins in a simulated future playoff system than next to any other Twins team that's made the playoffs. Outside, of course, the World Series. I'm talking like the last 20 years. But I'd rather run back solid pitching and a solid bullpen over, a Bomba squad that had one good pitcher in it.
Yeah, and that lineup too, by the end of the season, like the second half, was also a top 5 lineup. So and they just didn't do it at the same level. Outside of Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa, the rest of the line, and Julian had a good postseason, but
there is an interesting case to be made too, to go down a path that Declan has talked about for a long time. If you look at what has gotten the Rangers to the World Series, look at what the Rangers did, starting with, and it's not that this guy's great, but starting with the acquisition from the Royals of Aroldis Chapman and Montgomery. Then, like, they did, the Rangers, to their credit, pounced on opportunity and really improved their team as the deadline neared. And, I feel like that's something the Twins have dipped their toes in on. They certainly have screwed up before. But Texas is the example of what you, I think, brought up yesterday, Phil, which is if you start the season with a rotation that you like but don't love, and then come July, you're like, oh my God, we're really pretty damn good to make that Montgomery trade, which has been absolutely instrumental, because I think he's been really, really good for the Rangers.
Well, then the last one here before we get to a grid, Razorbacks 1 chimes in with that exact sentiment, which is if the Twins truly want to win a World Series, look at what Texas has done. Sign or trade for Semien, Seager, DeGrom, Scherzer, Montgomery, add talented players and prospects. Don't keep over-the-hill, often injured players like Buxton and Polanco. And finally, while they have some value still, trade guys like Larnach and Miranda and Woods Richardson for pitching. Be aggressive and don't rely on hope. I generally agree with that sentiment, especially when you're going into a window here. So, all right, boys. Good feedback session there today. We got an Immaculate Grid coming up. Speaking of losing weight, calories in, calories out, Livia can give you some structure to expedite that process.
They certainly can. A couple of years ago now, they helped me drop 40 pounds. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, you could see Sports Dad on the left, Sports Dad on the right. What happened? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. What happened was Livia Weight Control Centers, and they helped me. They can help you. I mean, I've talked about these stories, which include Steve, who checked in with me a couple of years ago, or no, a year and a half ago, and said, Judd, should I join this program? And I'm like, give it a shot, man. It works. And he was trying to drop substantial weight. Well, guess what? Got a note from him on Sunday, down at 98 pounds, 1 pound from his goal. Congratulations, dude. That's fantastic. Look, guys, this program works because it is a lifestyle change, but you don't have to change your life. It works because they will help you not only lose weight, but keep the weight off. This is a perfect program because it is really, in my opinion, pretty simple, but it also helps you change habits that, for years and years, you probably have had, which aren't great. And right now, 3 months free. That's right. If you join right now, if you decide, it's getting cold outside, but I sure don't want to gain more weight, you could actually lose weight. 3 months free. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livea.com, LIVEA.com.
Hey, we had some hail a few times this summer. It wasn't just bombas raining down. It was hail cubes or hail golf balls. And so if you had some hail damage and you have an approved claim for a roof replacement, Hire a Pro is where you should turn, because they can help you earn a profit on a hail claim. Now, roofers do this all the time when they ask for your insurance check. They just know what materials to order, the crew to hire, how to negotiate with insurance. Well, Hire a Pro takes care of all this for you so that you can be your own general contractor and earn what a roofing company would take in the profit. So if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give Hire a Pro a call at 651-402-3400. That's 651-402-3400. Or visit them online at hirea.pro. That's hirea.pro. And one more shout out to our friends at Ugly Deck as well before we dive into this Friday Immaculate Grid. Ugly Deck. Get that deck in order for patio season next year.
Judd, you're muted.
Darn it, I'm sorry. I was shuffling my papers to get the Ugly Deck copy, and I muted myself. Thank you, Declan. Why are those people dancing? Why are they so happy? Because you know what?
Because they're unmuted.
And they're not muted. They're not muted. In fact, they're ecstatic because they have a new deck, and Ugly Deck wants to give you a beautiful deck, too. They're offering right now a Reserve My Deck Package Now special for the DIYer who wants to have a build a deck in the spring and save huge. This is only for a limited number of customers who reserve their deck package now. Uglydeck.com offering up to $1,000 off a full deck package plus locked in 2023 pricing. Uglydeck.com will then deliver your deck package to your driveway by May 1st of 2024, and you're going to save as much as 10 grand. 10 grand on your deck build.
Let's go.
Remember, with Ugly Deck, you get free plans, a free coach, so like a coordinator giving you the play calls as you build this, access to their online deck build academy, and they will install your footings and ledger. You do the rest. You save huge. Uglydeck.com today. Click on the Reserve My Deck package now, and you know what? Go from your ugly deck to a beautiful deck thanks to Uglydeck.com.
All right. Let's dive into an Immaculate Grid here. It's the Immaculate Grid Challenge, where we are looking to go 9 for 9. Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. We have a new category here.
Oh.
So we're trying to, we'll start with a White Sox who was a Rocky, a White Sox who was a Brewer, and a White Sox who was a National or an Expo. Then we're looking for a Red who was a Rocky, a Red who was a Brewer, and a Red who was an Expo or a Nat. And then we're looking for a 10-win season as a pitcher. Not 20, but a 10-win season as a pitcher.
I love this.
Who is a Rocky, a
this
Brewer, or a Washington National or Montreal Expo.
All right.
This is glorious. The 10-win options that opens up like almost any pitcher. Ever,
I love
right?
this grid.
So obscure pitchers.
I love this grid right now. This is one of my favorite. White Sox and Rocky, Justin Morneau.
That's a good one. Should we
Former
go with
Twin.
if we can go former Twins on a lot of these? It'd be
Justin Morneau.
Justin Morneau.
Ooh, 9.
9%?
Little higher than I would have liked. Not really an identifiable White Sox at all. That surprises me.
Oh, dude, 9%?
It was a little surprising, to be honest.
Well, there might not be a lot though.
Did Will remember that White Sox pitcher named Wilson Alvarez from the 90s? He definitely pitched for the
Brewers.
Dodgers. Wasn't he? I was
Brewers,
going to say
right?
he was a Brewer too, wasn't he?
I think so.
Wilson Alvarez?
Dex, you got any thoughts?
Well, I do know Gio Gonzalez works for like 3, I believe, of these squares.
He definitely White Sox.
White Sox National 10 win, and I think he also pitched for the Brew Crew at the end.
Well, and that brings up a question. Do we have a Jesse Orozco opportunity here?
We definitely do with Brewers. We definitely do with
Kyle Loesch would work for Brewers, Reds, or 10-win season for Brewers.
Let's use. Well, we have so many options here. Let's do Kyle Loesch for the 10-win Brewers.
Okay.
If you guys are good with that.
Yep, I'm good with that. Kyle Loesch, one of my all-time favorites.
Let's burn some former Twins here. 1%?
Nice.
Jeez. I kind of thought it'd be lower than that. Hold on a second. I'm writing down names. Wilson Alvarez, possible. Then we said who was
Gio Gonzalez.
Gio Gonzalez.
Oh,
that definitely.
Adam LaRoche. It could be high for Nats and Sox, but Adam LaRoche.
How about this
That's
one?
gonna be pretty high.
Okay.
How about this one? This is taking a chance because the name is big, but I don't think he's recalled as a White Sox. Tim Rock Reigns.
I recall
and
him.
White Sox.
I recall him fairly exclusively as a White Sox because I was born in '85.
Okay.
Didn't LaRoche also play for the Reds?
Did he?
I don't remember Adam LaRoche playing for the Reds, but he could have. He could have.
Again, might be higher, but there's options here. Adam Dunn would work for Nats Sox and Nats Reds.
Yep. I love the Adam. I'm just writing names down here.
Okay.
Adam Dunn. Let's see here. So I'm thinking 90s here too. I'm on the 10 win. I got my head in the 10 wins right now.
Reds Brewers Mike Moustakas would work.
Yep.
Moose.
That would work. Might be high, but yeah.
I need some obscure Rockies pitchers that would have won. I mean, Ubaldo is probably the most
Yeah, that's
popular
the
one. Dude,
John Gray.
Mike Hampton ever get to 10?
Ooh. Because he
here's a
flamed out
question.
with the Rockies, right? Or did he flame out with the Mets? Where was he good?
No, he flamed out with the Rockies.
the
big
Rockies,
time.
right? He was good.
He
with
was
the
good with
Mets.
the Astros and good with the Mets, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do we have the potential for 10-win relievers?
Yes, we do. So Jesse Crane did it one time, but I think it was with the Twins, and so that
Okay.
doesn't matter for us.
Okay.
But if you can think of 10-win relievers,
I'm just trying to think of guys
rare.
that get used a lot, or that got used a lot.
It's very rare that a reliever gets to 10 wins, obviously. So in terms of so Gio Gonzalez would fit a 10-win national. That might be a little higher.
No.
What about Expos back in the day?
That's where I would- we should use that.
Steve Rogers was one of their, as I recall, was
Captain
an
America?
ace. He was an ace of that team. I don't think people remember him though.
Let's do it.
So that
Okay.
that might be good. Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Rogers.
Yep, right there.
10 wins is not much. Yeah.
4.
4%? So that tells me there's not that many.
Oh,
All right,
We're getting
so
greedy now. We're like 4%. That's
yeah. I was gonna, well, no,
gonna
you
say.
are. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean, 1% on Loesch.
I'm a little greedy.
I was
because the
ecstatic.
10-win category, there's so many options that we should be able to get really low scores. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's only 4 options, then you're going to get 15%, 25%. Okay, Rockies.
original
Rockies 10 wins. So you said
original
Ubaldo,
90s
Hampton.
Rockies, Phil. 90s Rockies.
Their pitching staffs were so obscure, I feel like. I'm trying to think of those Rockies. I mean, the lineups are famous because you had Galarraga, Larry Walker.
Oswalt? Roy Oswalt?
Did he
Did he
pitch
win
to the
to-
Rockies? I have no idea.
He pitched, I believe, at the end.
After
for the
Philadelphia?
Rockies. Yeah, I thought.
Because he went Astros, Phillies, right?
Astros, Phillies, Texas. He played
Texas.
Texas too.
We could table that one. Let's fill some of these other ones in here. So,
All right.
White Sox. Who do we say we got? Tim Raines for. I mean, Tim Raines might work. That's early '90s, '80s stuff right there.
That's 80s. More so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
I think he was a
Sox
White
and
Sox.
Nationals. Right?
Yes. I think Rock was a White Sox by the 90s.
I'm gonna
right?
guess 8%. I'm gonna guess it's 8%.
All right. Let's see.
20.
20%, dude. Yeah.
You probably should went Adam
Son-
LaRoche.
Son of a.
Should we try it now that we're kind of just screwed on the immaculate or on the rarity score?
Yeah, we're still
Should we
immaculate.
try Wilson Alvarez since we're going down the '90s path for Brewer, who was a White Sox?
Sure. I don't. Yeah.
You're pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm Brewers. You're pretty
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
Wilson
I think you're
Alvarez. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right.
No.
Nope. God dang it. Well, all right.
This is just a
Wah
cluster.
wah. Yeah, Gio would have worked. So Gio was a Brewer at the end.
Yeah. I think in the pandemic season. He pitched a long time, actually.
Try Moustakis for Red and
Well, I mean, that,
Brewer.
It's going to be
Really high.
30%,
Yeah. 17.
17%.
No, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's all over.
Buzzkill.
29.
Adam Dunn, 29%. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this is
super high.
not
And
the
then a
way to go
10-win
into the
Rocky.
weekend.
Mike Hampton, did he get there? Or was he too bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
What
he
was
did.
it?
18.
18%.
18.
Dang it.
So let's see.
Okay.
That's just not a great day for us, right there.
There's only
All
29.
National League teams too.
Only 29 Rockies that have ever done this. Actually,
That's
a lot have come
insane.
recently.
That's
A
in
ton
30
have
years.
come recently.
30 years of Rockies baseball. They've had 29 10-win pitchers. Holy cow.
So who's the most popular? Answers. I'd be curious. Ubaldo.
Moustakis for 2 of them. Ubaldo very clearly. Corbin
Adam
Burns,
Eaton.
Steven Strasburg, Adam Eaton, Adam
Ellis
Dunn.
Burks.
We were sniffing around like really popular answers here. I do like the 10-win category, and I think that should stay. If any of the leadership of the Immaculate Grid happens to be listening to the end of a
Tweet it
Random
out.
Twins podcast, the 10-win category
Jeff
opens up a
Francis.
fun. Ellis
That could've
Burks.
People remember that. I'm shocked he's the number one answer.
Aaron Cook.
That's right. Yeah, Jeff Francis, Aaron Cook. Good Lord.
right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we
It's
came,
all
we
over.
saw, we failed in our Immaculate Grid
Sorry.
challenge here on the SKOR North Twin Show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll see you for some more off-season hot stove speculation next week.